Welcome back to the eastern end of the Austrian Alps. It is July, high summer, and time for episode 9 of Midlander in the mountains. Run VT! "96 subscribers, thank you to each and every one of you. The latest of which came from Sweden, so thank you very much for that person. Right then, it's been a little while since I've been here on Midlander in the mountains, and I do apologise for that, but as you can see, we are back on 2 wheels. Now today I'm going to do something which I call the loop. Now I'm sure lots of Austrians have got various other names for it, but it's basically a ride out where we begin and we end in the town of Glognitz. Now halfway through I'm going to take you to a place called Muggendorf where we are going to take in some caves and a waterfall. So without further ado, let's get cracking. From Glognitz I'll ride via Turnitz to Puckberg am Schneeberg, then via Miesenbach to Pernitz, then take in the waterfall at Muggendorf and then ride back through the mountains via Rohrimgebirge and the Racks until eventually I arrive back at Glognitz again. Now the journey really starts to get quite scenic as you turn left onto the B26 after riding through Turnitz, and that's where I'll pick this up. As you get out of Turnitz on the B26 and you get through here to St. Johann am Steinfeld, St. John in a stone field, literally translated, that you really start to see the mountains in front of you. And the road sort of opens up a bit, and although I can't see it from the bike, down to my left there, in the middle of the valley, is the river Siening. Now, it's quite apt then that the valley that we'll soon be going into is the Siening town, which incorporates the Siening National Park. Oh, you've absolutely got to love these roads. Grüß Gott in Siening! This is a beautiful little village, but we're not going to see very much of it because we're turning right into the Siening town, where we will have the river Siening on our right. And this is the Siening National Park to our right, an area that was
mined quite extensively for its limestone. And as we ride along the valley, in front of us there's a building which stretches over the road, rather like a toll gate. And I often wondered what it was. And it's connected with the castle which is above it. And it's written on the side, Forsthaus der Stadt Wien, which means the forester's house of the town of Vienna. Well, obviously we are a little way from Vienna, but it was the Viennese authorities that restored this. It was the original forester's house here, and above it, on the hill above us there, is, now I've got to get this right, Schloss Stixenstein, and that is Stixenstein Castle. Dates back to the 12th century, and that was acquired by the city of Vienna in 1937. But 50 years later, they leased it to an organisation called the Friends of Stixenstein, and they rent it out. You can rent it for various purposes, and you can also go and visit. Maybe I'll do that in a future episode. But for today, it's just nice to be back on the bike. I generally find bikers all over the world to be a pretty friendly bunch, and in Austria that's very much so. Almost all of them wave, and one of the things I've noticed here this summer, more than before really, is there's a very, very large puck scene here. Not unsurprisingly really, as puck motorcycles were made in Austria, and in fact my ever first road bike, if you can call it that, was a 1975 Puck Maxi. Not the cool version, which was available for boys, with a petrol tank between your legs, but the girls' version, or more likely your mum's version, which had a shopping trolley on the front, leg shields, a windscreen, and looked like something that your mother would go to the shops on if perhaps she didn't have a driving licence. OCH680P. Anyway, there's a big puck scene here, and there's a lot of people out this summer, I've noticed, riding puck maxis and super maxis. It's a real scene. It's kind of uber cool. I don't think it is. Oh wow, listen to that. For as long as there is petrol and diesel and I have the internal combustion engine, I shall taste freedom. And I really don't care whatever the Green Lobby think about me saying things like that. It's my life. Oh, baby. And we're now coming into the small town of Puckberg am Schneeberg, which is a beautiful, beautiful little place. And right in the centre of town there's a small lake, and Puckberg's really quite famous because it's from here that the main line ends, but you can take the mountain railway up to the top of the Schneeberg, which I will cover in another episode. And before I pass it, because we're just coming up to it now, there's a guy on the right up here who's got a museum full of Mercedes 190s, a privately owned museum. And at some point, I'll see if I can try and get us through the front doors with a camera, because it's something else that you can visit. But the train that, and here it is on my right, historic sorry. And the train here is painted yellow and black, which are the same colours of a lizard that we have around these parts called a salamander. And I'm sure it's yellow and black in order to keep away predators, because I don't think it's particularly poisonous to us. Although I wouldn't recommend licking one, okay? I really wouldn't recommend licking one. And I've been told that you shouldn't pick them up. And I'd rather be inclined to leave things like lizards and snakes alone anyway, to do their own thing. In front of us there is the glimpse of another little castle, which is up here at Puckberg, more of a ruin, not much of that left. But this really is a super place to visit, and from here you take the Salamander mountain train up to almost the summit. I mean, it is the top at one end, but it's slightly lower at one end than it is at the other. And there's all kind of restaurants and things up there and wonderful walks. And of course it's somewhere you can visit without a motorcycle, so I shall definitely take you up there at some point. We're filming today on Sunday, so apart from restaurants, all the shops are closed. Sunday trading laws in Austria. And personally, I actually find there's something nice about that, coming from the UK, where everything seems to be open 24/7.
All right, Craig, all right. That's quite enough about English Sunday trading laws. We've got a film to make. Let's get on with it. Out of the valley where Puckberg is situated, over a ridge, through a little bit of forest, and start to make your way down to some very, very enjoyable twisties. Second set of twisties, I couldn't resist the opportunity to pull over and just hammer out a little bit of drone footage. Glad I did. Yes, I know, I've spoken about open roads many times. Check out this next shot. It's the valley ahead. On the way to Muggendorf. We like. Cast your eyes to the right. That's not bad, is it, for a village council offices? Before you know it, the valley sweeps its way down where we swing a left onto the B21. use your friendly biker waves. Then we finally arrive in Pernitz, where we hang a right after the Fiat sign and make our way towards Muggendorf and the beginning of our little hike. When you get to the bottom of the car park, ignore the entrance to the falls themselves and look right. You'll see a path working its way up the hill. That is exactly what you're aiming for. And after doing the usual Superman impression in the car park next door to the bike, off we go with a change of clothes. Now you'll notice at this point the addition of my Ray-Bans. This will probably be the last time you see them during this film. In fact, it'll probably be the last time you see sunshine. If only I'd have known what was to lie ahead. And no, I wasn't referring to these steep tracks. Right, I'm behind the camera at the moment, folks. That's the direction that I've come from. That's the direction that I'm going, which is downhill. And just in front of me here, there's a little bit of a plateau. And that's taken me about 40 minutes to get up to here. Probably a little bit slower than most, given the fact I'm carrying a 40-pound pack on my back. So, but once you get to this point, then it's chance for a breather. Shortly after the plateau, you come out here, and whereas before you could hear the waterfall and people down below, when you come out the other side of the wood, it's as dead as a door now. I hope the mic's picking this up, but I just can't hear anything other than insects and birds. It's great. Follow the signs to the Jagersitz and stay on the path. It's much nicer. After exiting the forest, you come back to the road, which points nicely towards our next point of reference. Although it was a little bit early for lunch. At this point in the walk, there is a conveniently placed map. And that's where we came from, Myrafaelle. And then we're here at the Jagersitz. We'll be going down towards Franz's Hütte, back up to the Steinwand Clam. Then we'll be going up to Turkenloch, get it right, Craig, and then back over the top and back down in the direction of Myrafaelle, again via a slightly different route. So, given the fact that the skies have turned rather grey and there's nothing I can do about that, without further ado, we'll crack on. I think this is what they call a talking headshot, and is the first time I've attempted such a thing. But behind me, if I can just get this into focus, you will see that there is a sign. And I can tell you that this sign says that there's an electric fence here, and there's also video surveillance. And it also says that feeding the animals is absolutely forbidden. Now, that's fair enough, but have you seen what sort of animals there are? Well, let's get closer. Well, the geese in the background I've seen, but never have I ever seen a goose with one of those, which, unless I'm very much mistaken, looks like an ostrich. And the goats, they're not bothered at all. Well, I was completely wrong on that score. Nowhere near the size of an ostrich. I think it's a rhea.
Bitte sehr.
Danke sehr. So, I have taken a short break at the Jausenstation Reicha, which is a restaurant here at the bottom of the valley, and I have ordered a soda citron, which is freshly squeezed lemon juice with sparkling water, most refreshing. And for my main course I have ordered Voralpenkäse mit Salat, which is literally translated as pre-alpine cheese with salad, and we'll see what comes. So there you have it, cheese and salad, and as they say in Austria, Mahlzeit. Basically, enjoy your meal. Well, I can say I thoroughly enjoyed that, but I can't speak so highly of the weather. I think between here and the caves I'm definitely going to get wet. Right, so after a beautiful lunch I am now at the entrance to the Steinwand Clam walk at the furthest point away from Myrafaelle. Now, I didn't order what feels like a tropical storm, but it's here anyway. So filming might be a little bit sparse between here and the caves, as I have invested in a new camera, and the fuzzy cover for my microphone, which is known in the filmmaking world as a dead cat, is beginning to look more like a drowned rat. So here goes, onwards and upwards. €7 and off we go. Wonderful. I don't know how much of that you saw, but I've never done this before, talking to a camera and trying to avoid the low trees. But the nice lady in the shop there told me that there's quite a bit of tree cover on the route between here up to the caves, and as I just said, it costs €7 to get in, which I don't begrudge at all, because all this needs to be maintained and everything comes at a price. Well, the lady was true to her word, and there is something of a bit of tree cover here. Do you remember earlier on I mentioned a lizard called a salamander? Well, there you go. Bit of information about said lizard. All in German, but at least you get a nice photograph. So, finally here we are at the entrance to the Steinwand Clam. Now those stairs look more slippery than an eel, so I'm going to dispense with the tripod. Please excuse the camera work if it's slightly wobbly, as it'll all be done by hand. I've started to see the first of the small caves, and I have to say, this is truly superb. I kind of feel that something's going to come out and speak to you like a little troll or something. It's absolutely magical. And funnily enough, the rain has not dampened my spirits one bit. Try and be all cinematic and clever now and get a picture of this moss. Look at that. I mean, I'm sure nobody'd be silly enough to do it, but one thing I must say is, if you're coming up here, even in the dry, don't be coming up in flip-flops, eh? Because that's not going to do you any good whatsoever. Right, at this point we have a choice. We can go that way, where there's some nice comfortable stairs, or we can go that way, where there's a ladder and a 40-pound pack on my back. This is Midland with the wildlife. This is Midlander in the mountains, right? Come on. Only for those people that don't suffer with problems at height. Now those viewers who are regular to this channel will know that I'm not great at heights, but just to prove to you that I did it, there is my kit. So then the puffing and blowing started. At least I'm out of the rain up here. Don't hold your breath, son. That won't last long. At this point you will notice two dark areas at the side of the screen. This was my sunshade. I was about to watch this fall 100 feet down into the valley. You've got to be kidding me, right? I'm absolutely not. It's the next level. Oh, here goes the sunscreen. There you go, gone. And that's the view when you get up onto the platform here. And on the other side, you will see there is another ladder going right up to that hole at the top. But people of a certain age will know that Clint Eastwood once said, a man's got to know his limitations. And I know mine. Now, I'm sure the climbers amongst you will be saying, why don't you go a little bit further? But without a carabiner and some rope, I'm not. But you do get the idea. This is not for the flip-flop brigade. Sometimes in life, just sometimes, we all need a bit of luck. And this is an advert for Sigma. Look what I've just found. Having fallen from all the way up there, around the corner where you can't quite see, I have found this, and by the looks of things, that has just fallen well over 100 feet, and there's not a mark on it. Not a mark on it. I am indeed a lucky guy. Now, I've no idea if it was the persistent rain or the fact I'd now got water in places I didn't realise I could get water, but I was thoroughly expecting to find the Turkenloch, or the Turkish hole, as I rounded the next corner. But that never happened, and I later realised it was on an elevated position over to my left. So I'm afraid I've had to borrow this next photograph. Midlander in the mountains. More like an idiot abroad. Anyway, I continued off past the bridge where I could probably have found the Turkenloch, and found myself at the top of the valley where you hang a left. So at this point in the walk, the rain hasn't let up at all, and I'm on this stretch of road on my own and have decided to do a little piece to camera. The whole idea of Midlander in the mountains, let's get you out there, the whole idea of Midlander in the mountains really is to show people the things that they're probably not going to find very easily unless they've got the time to be here, which fortunately I'm lucky enough to have. But sometimes I come across things and I think I'd love to do a film about that, but they're not really touristy things, and they're not things that you'd get on a plane and come to Austria for. They're just little things that are connected with living here. So as and when those things come up, I'm going to start to do some shorter videos called shorts, and they're not going to be about touristy things particularly, just about little things that I find might be worth making a very short video about, and I shall just call them shorts, not episodes, and put them on my channel, and hope you might find some of the things that I come across and talk about enjoyable. There you go. Right, forward into the rain. Well, here we are on the edge of the forest, and this is supposed to be the great reveal where I fly my drone and show you the beautiful Austrian mountains behind me, which are completely shrouded in pea soup mist. So I shall make my way down to Jagersitz and then follow the route down to Karnaviet. I hope you like waterfalls, because I think that's all we've got today. By now, everything was so sodden, even the local wildlife was running for cover. When you see the information station just to the west of Jagersitz, check out the map and follow the yellow route down to Karnaviet. At one point, I even thought it was possibly threatening to get sunny. I needn't have worried, my panoramic shots remain dashed. After about an hour and a half stroll from the end of the Steinvan Clam Gorge, we find ourselves back on tarmac for the first time since the Yowza station. And just down there is Kerneveert, and then we're down to the waterfall. So now you're at this play area and you find yourself at the Myrateik, Myra Pond if you like. Just follow the signs and we're straight down to the waterfall. So here we finally are, got my ticket and in we go. So while you enjoy some footage of Myrafaelle at the base of the valley, which is the exit in our case, but is also the entrance, you can use it for both, I need to tell you something. On the day of filming, the weather was so bad that the idea that I'd had to film my ride back to Glognitz was just not feasible. So I filmed the end of the show and thought I would wrap it up there. However, I then remembered I had made some library footage 2 or 3 days previous. So I am going to play you out with that rather than the usual boring photograph of a rock. Thank you very much for your understanding. And now the final scene. So, now I'm back at the bottom of the Myrafaelle Gorge after a 6.5 mile hike. I've had a wonderful time, apart from the rain. but I must confess, it was warm. I wasn't cold at any point, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Thank you very much for joining me. 96 subscribers, and I really hope that this video can get me over the 100. Until next time, stay safe. Ta-da!
Oh darling, your magnetism draws me to you. You bring me out from nowhere. You shine like the sun. There's a mystery in your eyes of blue, and it's your smile that tells me you're the one. I wanna take you on a tour of the flowers, a tour of the flowers. I wanna spend an incredible hour on a tour of the flowers. I wanna take you on a tour of the flowers, a tour of the flowers. I wanna spend an incredible hour on a tour of the flowers. To see all of history in a shower of every god and all their wisdom and power. I'll take you higher than a song can lift you, baby. Then take a dive off a cliff and rock formations. I wanna take you on a tour of the flowers, a tour of the flowers. I wanna spend an incredible hour on a tour of the flowers. I wanna take you on a tour of the flowers, a tour of the flowers. I wanna spend an incredible hour on a tour of the flowers. You were the girl on the fountain with honest senses. I never thought I'd see those waters in the distance. The clouds parted, baby, and I came up from underground. Yeah, I came uninvited without making a sound. And I said, shh, quiet now. And I said, quiet now.